okay? And they're coming up, and ultimately, we can talk about popularity and say that they all come to presentation A. That's the most popular presentation. But with some form of feedback, are we finding out what really makes that particular presentation valuable in terms of knowledge to me, because I've got 5 hours to make my presentation. Because otherwise, everybody's coming to the same search, and again, just by chance, on the way that, even if I learned, unless you are really telling me exactly how I should type it, a difference of 1 or 2 words may lower the chance of hitting the exact title that I want, or getting directed to the piece of knowledge. And I'm just saying, maybe I really didn't want page 10, but is there some relevance of saying from the feedback that these are the pages that are coming up there, and there's a way of populating the kernels and bringing them up forward?
I can answer your questions based on what we've learned. And the technique that we get to that data is what Connie was mentioning. The Safe Search has a retrain facility. When a person does a query, they can actually retrain. They say, oh, items 3 and 5 are exactly what I need. Let's retrain it. So it gets smarter. That Safe Search gets smarter and smarter. Now, that gets put aside to the database, the knowledge base. When you're looking for a piece of information, the Safe Search pops up. It says, this might be what you look for, and then you click on it and it goes to page 17. That's how we find that.
Does that save the actual results, or just the script that's sent to there? A dynamic database, you've been describing the spiders adding stuff.
Yeah. The way we've implemented it is dynamic. It saves just the training part of it.
Okay.
Which it can be good too, because if something better comes along, you'll find it.
Yeah, just following up the question, I think that's what you're looking for. Probably they would have to measure what the users have gotten. Did you find this presentation useful? 1, 2, 3. Or then when you do the search, you would say 20% of the users of the people that search this stuff being found is useful. The way I guess like Amazon or something, it does say like Amazon. Right, the way they do it. So first they would have to measure that in order to apply the thing. Right now.
No, we're not doing that. Social Security has asked for that, and I think the term is collaborative filter. We're collaborating to try to rank the results. It's been around for a while, but I don't know if I've.
But see, I'm looking to, every time that we come across explicit knowledge versus what the added tacit knowledge to it, because we bring that to our whatever it is that we do. We have no idea about knowledge management. I do a search because my boss picked me to do it because they know that I get it done in 5 hours. Okay, now I've already got tacit knowledge, but every time we're doing the search, I say, you seem to be learning from the experts, but what are you learning from the people that aren't experts, who are these 5 to 10 people a week that are coming in for the first time? And theoretically, if they're in a turnover situation, they may have 2 or 3 trips to get what they need to get out, and then they're gone. So what are we learning from their experience?
Something that was triggered in my mind from the point that you're trying to make there, where you are making, is thinking about the nature of the person who's searching. If you're doing a one-off search, you're trying to find a piece of information that's just pertinent for you to get the job done the next hour or 2.
Right.
That's entirely different than somebody's doing an ongoing, continuous searching and building a body of knowledge for themselves in which they're going to create something that wouldn't be just this couple hour get the job out today, but it might be this much bigger thing like building a course or building some policy or procedure back or something. This type of search, the search agents can become very intelligent in relation to what you are really looking for.
Right.
Over time, they're going to get better and better because you keep saying to them, yeah, you found some good stuff or you didn't find some good stuff, and that agent can get more and more intelligent. And ultimately, it's only looking for the kinds of stuff it already knows, that's all you want to see. But that's when you're doing a longer term type of search. When you do this one-off thing, you're suggesting, is it possible that you can benefit from someone other people have found? But if they weren't looking for exactly the same thing as you, that's a real complexity. You're hoping that page 10 is a very important page, or are they looking for the exact same thing as you? That's the dilemma, and I think that's a very hard problem to solve.
Right.
This one-off kind of a search.
Well, yeah,
this
we've seen those requirements, and as far as we can tell, that's the way we approach it.
And I'm not trying to in any way pollute data. But at the same time, because I mean, ultimately the presentation should remain the presentation. There's no reason why everything necessarily has to be linear or exposed just to that one piece of information. I can choose to ignore this other piece of knowledge, even though I come up to the presentation either in its form of a presentation or based on this query, I come up to any particular of the 20 pages. The other thing is, what you're saying is you have a population of roughly 200,000 people going to...
One day I figured that out.
Give or take a few.
Give or take a few. So out of that population of 200,000, obviously your core audience is maybe 2,000 people who are going to continue to grow, and you're going to and ultimately populate additional websites, and they're going to be the people that maybe work until retirement in this particular field, or lawyers or whatever is between expertise. But I'm sure there's a lot more one-off that you have to service, and then maybe maybe you can get speak to that.
Well, we're really servicing the occasional user. That's the big audience. The people who don't know anything about the subject. The people who've been handed the task, which is what happens in government a lot. They handed the task, they're not sure where to go. When they come into the portal, and through that we can give them information they need. Now, in some fields, it may be that there are fairly standard problems and fairly standard answers. In fields dealing with humanities, such as historic preservation, and I imagine lots of the sciences, no two needs are ever the same, and if they were, probably the solution side isn't going to change each time. So I think it's interesting in a field like this, where you have historians using it, lawyers, and the field itself is sort of large, but the body of literature is manageable. So I don't think that in my case that we can do more than to help them get to good information. We vet every single site. We go through and make sure that the information on there is as accurate as we, the experts, can measure.
I think you're putting your finger on it. And you mentioned information, and the gentleman here is talking about knowledge.
Right.
And we're getting confused. When you're putting a single search in, you're going to get information back. You're going to get data. You're not going to get knowledge. Right. That's a misnomer, an absolute misnomer. Because knowledge is that tacit thing that you're applying to information to make a decision. What Constance is doing, which I understand, is she's taking subject matter experts, and she's going through those one-off searches, and she's saying, okay, how can I make the experience for the user that much better by ranking to a degree those searches against the information that's coming back. One thing that possibly could go further is if you built a taxonomy with those subject matter experts, and we're constantly reviewing that taxonomy with maybe taxonomy building tools and maintenance tools with subject matter experts, such that when users perhaps were either putting single query searches in, or they could have maybe a browse taxonomy in the specific subject matter area that they know they're interested in, they might find information that way by browsing a taxonomy in a specific area, whereby they could actually pull back information that, hey, that's exactly what I'm looking for. Because remember what Dan said, which is true, we don't know what we're looking for until we find it.
But it seems like to me